Hello, this video is for demonstrating a technique that I use where I single crochet into both sides of a chain, and this is usually used when I'm trying to create something that is kind of rectangular, flat top. It's used in the Toon Link pattern for his shield and I believe his sword, and it's also used in both of the Domo-Kun patterns. So to demonstrate it, I'm going to start the small Domo-Kun pattern, which is actually, I think I've just posted that, so I'm anticipating there's going to be some questions about it. There was questions about it with the link and the other Domo, so I figure it better to address it. So to start off, the instructions are to chain 10. So I've got 3, 6, 9, and 10. And then it says the first thing we're going to do is an increase. So in the second chain from the hook, we're going to do a single increase. So there's 1 single crochet and 2 for our first increase. And you can kind of see when you work that, like, you see how we just did our stitches in this little loop here, but there's the other side of that chain which is empty. Well, on the way back we're going to stitch into those, and then we're going to do 7 single crochets down the side of this chain. So that's 1, and then in the next one 2, and the next one is our third single crochet, the next one is our fourth single crochet, and the fifth single crochet, sixth single crochet, and now the 7th. And then it calls for another increase. So this here is our last single crochet, or our last chain. And we're going to do an increase. So that's 2 single crochet stitches in the one. And now the instructions say to pop over to the other side of that same chain and do an increase again. So if we look at all the work we've just done, see how we've got this little line, this little row of yarn loops. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. That's the other side of all the chains we just worked in. So this is the other side of this chain we just did an increase in. So we're going to pop into here. We're going to put our hook through this loop right here, like that, and do an increase, because that is the other side of that stitch, of that chain. So put her, and it can sometimes be a little bit hard to actually get your hook in there, so if you need to bore it out with like a yarn needle, that might help you. So we'll do an increase in that side of that chain, and see how that acts like a U-turn, because now we're going up this way. So those two increases act basically like a U-turn. And then our next one is going to be 7 single crochets. So 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, 1 there, 1 there, 1 there. You see how it's the other side of every stitch, of every chain. So that's going to be 1 single crochet, there's our second, our third, our fourth, And you can really see it now how it's starting to work. And when he's all finished and stuff, that's what the top of his head looks like. Okay, so there's our 7 single crochets, and now we need to do an increase, and sometimes it's a little bit hard to tell. So if we look at where's the other side of this chain, so here's our increase, and there's the loop, the little loop we're going to go into. This guy right here, that's the other side of that chain, and we're going to do an increase in that spot. And there we go. That's the start of it. And this pattern, I'll just join it because this pattern is a joined one. So just so you can see how I join this type of thing. So our first stitch from this row was this one here. That was the first single crochet stitch. So what we're going to do is hook in through there, do yarn over, pull through, and then pull that second loop through the first loop on your hook really tight. So that's one slip stitch, but a really tight one. Then you chain 1. And that first chain does not count as a stitch, so the first single crochet goes into that same spot we just slip stitched through. And that's how you do your join. So it would just go in that hole there, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, and pull through both. So that would be your first single crochet of the next row. So hopefully that's a good explanation of how to do the U-turns.